I'm going to throw a slight curveball at you, Jason, because I've pulled up the Federal Register for the mental health changes. We'll go over this in a second, but my initial thoughts, I'm going to shoot it over to you for your initial thoughts, and then we can go through this. I think the mental health change of all three of these, sleep apnea sucks, tinnitus, I think it's going to be good. Mental health, there's no indicators that it's not going to be good. And when I say good, I mean favorable for veterans. So I think overall, this is a solid change for veterans, especially in today's age. The outside of our small veteran circle, America as a whole has a mental health crisis going on right now. You can take that as what you will, but that's it goes back to the article right here of modern medical knowledge. It also refers to mental health as the modern change for that rating. Hence, why the VA is falling in line with that modern knowledge. So, Jason, I'm going to kick it over to you for your initial thoughts, and then we can just go over how mental health is rated.
Totally. I am extremely excited about mental health. I can't even tell you how excited I am about it. It is by far the most advantageous change for all veterans with regard to a change. If you have mental health that you're going to be filing for, or you already have conditions for. I believe in that so much that I believe that 70% rated mental health service-connected veterans today can get to 100%. I believe that 50% veterans could potentially make it to 100% with this change. It is that big of a deal, and I don't think that there's enough information about it out there. Again, where's the VA's YouTube channel on this? Where I don't see it. It's like I'm flipping through the sit rep. I'm flipping through the what's the other one? The bluff, right? And I'm like, I don't see where's the rubber meets the road. This is impacting veterans, right? I don't know. So it's sure not in their comments. So I think that it is a gigantic deal that people need to be aware of. If you haven't filed for mental health yet, I still suggest you do it now, because you don't know when this is going to go into effect. So you might as well get some back pay and all that, because it could be months. So file for it if you haven't gotten it yet. And then when it does make the change, you're going to want to file for an increase. It's super impactful. I'm not going to dive into how I view it. I'll let you talk about how it's changed. The one thing I will throw out, is the VA has proposed essentially eliminating the need for total social and economic inadaptability for the 100% criteria. So in other words, currently the VA says you have to have total economic issues, like you can't work, is how bad your mental health condition is in order to receive 100%. Well, they're going to remove that and throw it away, meaning that now you can still work. Because I mean, who can not work? Look, $4,100 a month or whatever it is at 100% with a spouse and a dependent is not enough to live in most places in the U.S., right? At least most places that you'd actually want to live. There's some places that you could live, but you got bars on the windows and all that stuff, and you don't really want to live there. So you have to work, whether you mentally can deal with it or not. So I'm so happy that they're changing this, because it's much needed. I'm going to calm down. We'll pass it back to you, and we'll dive into how it's going to be rated, because this is a really important piece to understand.
Absolutely. So right now, right before we go into it, currently, if you look at 38 CFR for mental health, it looks like someone vomited a ton of symptoms without sentence structure and just threw them up there with a bunch of commas and said 50%, blah, 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 blah. 70%. Oh, by the way, 50% symptoms are still in 70%, but blah, 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 blah. And then you'll see comments from your decision letter at 50% that says veteran closely associates with 50%. It's like, okay, well, can you tell me why? Like, what is it that I closely associate with 50 and not 70? And they can't do it. Meaning, there's a lot of subjectivity in the current rating schedule for mental health as it is right now. I don't think the mental health rating schedule is bad as of right now, but it could be a lot better. And this is that a lot better. So let's go ahead and just look at this real quick. I'm going to give an overview. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but 170 30, 170 50 30 10, the 0% is now gone. The 0% always drives me insane. Even whenever you look at the 0% for the current rating schedule, it says you're diagnosed, but you have no symptoms. What does that even mean? Like, hey, you're depressed, but you're happy. It's like, okay, thanks. I appreciate that. But so 0% rating is gone. And then we have these levels here. And if you could section this off in your little brain housing group up there, we have levels, then we have domains. Okay. Levels and domains. That is how the VA is structuring how mental health is going to be rated. And so you have domains. There are 5 of them. I'm going to go over them. And you have levels. Let's start with the domains. You have cognition. It tells you what cognition is. Okay. You also have interpersonal interactions and relationships. A third domain is task completion and life activities. Fourth domain is navigating environments. And number 5 is self-care. So for all you dirty people out there, you finally have a rating schedule. That's a joke, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Then you have these levels. And so each domain has a level of 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 is none, 1 is mild, 2 is moderate, 3 is severe, and it has a percentage of what that actually looks like. And then 4 is total impairments that occurs more than 25% or more of the time. And the reason why I think this is good, Jason, the number one, well, there's 2 reasons I think this is good. One, I think it's more objective, saying, hey, you are level 2 here, you are level 3 in this one, right? It is you are. It's not you closely associate with that. This is your level within that domain. Got it. So I think it's more objective. And 2, mental health is so broad. Okay. Everyone's mental health is extremely unique. What I struggle with, what Jason struggles with, what you struggle with is extremely unique to you. Meaning you may have full cognition. This might be 0. Okay. You might be a 0 in cognition, but when it comes to your ability to just interact with people, when it comes to your ability to connect emotionally with your children or with your spouse or with your friends, your family, whatever that looks like for you, that might be where you struggle. So you could be a 0 in cognition. You could be a 0 in task completion, a 0 in 4, or 0 in 5. But as far as interpersonal interactions and relationships, you could be a 4, right? Because that is you. And that, according to this rating schedule, level 4 in one or more domain is 100%. And so I think overall, that's a very, very long way to say, I think the new rating schedule is more specific to the individual veteran versus just saying, blah, here's a bunch of symptoms. Okay. This is really honing it down into you, because you might be the opposite. You know, you can sympathize and have empathy for your children and your friends and your family, but your ability to take a shower, your ability to brush your teeth, your ability to just care for yourself, you know, you're wearing pajamas to work, whatever that looks like for you. That's a real thing. I remember when I got back from Syria, I was in Syria from January all the way to August. We took 3 showers that whole time. When I came back the rest of that year, it felt weird to shower. And as long as this is going to sound so weird, as long as my nails were clean, I felt clean. Okay. And so that is a very specific, that's a very specific, you could be a 0 in all other domains, but a 3 or a 4 or a 2 in self-care and still be rated on mental health, because that is what you deal with. And it evolves over time. It changes over time. That's really what I favor, what I see is favorable for veterans, is it's more specific to you as an individual versus just saying you're depressed or you're anxious. It's like, yeah, well, so are, 10 million other people who all have different symptoms. It's not the same. And so that's really, I like the changes. That's what I want to say. I'm going to kick it back to you, Jason.
So I need you to reiterate what the minimum criteria is to reach 100%, and say it slow.
Okay. So I'm going to pull this up too. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to dumb it down. So 100% is level 4 in one or more domains, or level 3 in 2 or more domains. Meaning, let's say you have your cognition is a 3 and your self-care is a 3, everything else is a 0. Guess what? That still rates 100%. Or everything's a 0 and your self-care for some reason is a 4, that would rate 100%. And so it's based off of your levels and your domains for each category. And you can see now that's for 100%. Level for 70 is level 3 in one domain or 2 in 2 domains. Then it goes down from there. 50 is level 2 in a domain. 30 is level 1 in 2 or more domains. And then 10 is the minimum rating. So if you're depressed every now and then, but you barely have symptoms in the domains, you're still going to get a 10% rating. I hope that clarifies it more. It seems confusing because you have domains, you have levels, and you have criteria. It's simply what it boils down to, and here's the golden answer, Jason, is talk to your primary, your referred care, especially that psychologist, that social worker, your psychiatrist, and let them know what's going on. Because one thing I do want to hit on, actually, and I'm glad you asked me that because it sparked a thought. When it comes to how the levels are rated, there's a criteria here. 25% of the time, 25% of the time. A personal statement that says I'm depressed 25% out of the day is not going to cut it. Okay. This is going to have to be controlled and I want to say dictated or given by a medical professional of mental health to say, hey, here is the level of your impairment. And so I think the new rating change, if anything, I think it'll stump personal statements down a bit for mental health. And I think it would up the need for hard medical evidence because we have that criteria. Your spouse, me, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, no one is licensed to say 25% of the time. That's definitely from that medical professional. But food for thought, Jason. What are your thoughts on how it's rated specifically, uniquely to the veteran?
I think it's great, Clay. I think that it's great that they're splitting it up into the 5 domains. So 5 aspects of your life, right? So mental health doesn't affect everything equally. And that's what they're really focusing on. Some people, like Clay said, are going to have more issues in one spot than another. What's really great about this is that if you're really, I'm going to use the word suffering, in a specific area of your life, the VA is going to recognize that and you can get rated 100%. Let's say that you've been married 5 times, right? You can't hold down a relationship and maybe you job hop, right? So you job hop, you're earning money, right? But every year or so you jump to another job because the people get on your nerves or whatever, or you see the writing on the wall that you might get fired. So you job hop and you can't hold a relationship. So those are 2 things that are going to count as evidence for you in that realm, right? You're going to have those conversations, but you can also, hey, here's my 5 divorce decrees. And here's my resume. These are the 5 jobs that I've had in the last 4 years, right? I have issues in these areas, and having those conversations and being truthful and divulging the dirty laundry, right? Which is always what it is with mental health. And look, not every situation is the same, right? And it's what I tell people when they go into CMP exams is, look, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
It's going to suck, and you're going to be like, God, I wish this was over. And you're going to feel like just drained by the time you're done with it. If you're being honest and forthcoming, right? If you keep it all bottled up and you're just like, and you shortchange yourself, you're shortchanging yourself. So don't do that. I think I'm curious to see how the CNP exams are going to work, because they're really going to dive into these 5 domains. And if you don't divulge everything within a specific domain because maybe it's embarrassing, and then let's say self-care, for example, right? Let's say that you don't want to talk about it, or you shortchange the severity of it. That's going to end up drastically impacting you, because a severe circumstance in one of those 5 areas, severe, is going to warrant you 100. 2 impactful areas could warrant you 100%. So it's really important, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to do the CNP exams. The one thing for sure is you can utilize the criteria that's there. Look, you better than anybody. Be honest with yourself. If you're married or you have a significant other, talk with them about those things. Sometimes looking through somebody else's eyes is a little more, what you think might be acceptable really isn't, right? Maybe you're less empathetic than everybody else. I can tend to be, I have to work hard to try to be, and that might just be the military, right? It's just really kind of, it really makes you not, I don't even know how to go down that road. I have conversations with my wife about how I need to work on that. So, you need to have those conversations. If you have somebody you can have those conversations with, having that second set of eyes is sometimes helpful. So, I'm just really excited about the change, and I'm looking forward to it coming into effect. And that's pretty much it, Clay.